Welcome to Goat Island. I'm your host, the Big Ka Huzzi, and this is your weekly entertainment and history. What's up with series anyway? This week's series type we're looking at is period dramas, and the GOAT period drama is hands down, no questions asked, Vikings. We're giving an honorable mention to the show Reign, but there's no competition here. Vikings is the one, 9 out of 10, because it fell off in the end, but this is GOATed. Skull. For the weekend, we'll get the final season of Blood of Zeus on Netflix, and next week we'll definitely give you our review as we'll binge it this weekend, of course. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the show, let's break it down. This is a new story that's not exactly true to the Greek mythology, but epic conflict, Hollywood level storytelling, and the visuals of a great anime all wrapped in one. Definitely looking forward to this watch later this week. Recently, I've been missing the joys of adult animated comedies. You know, the American Dads, the Family Guys, the fucking classicos. So I binged this show that looked promising. Number one, Happy Family USA. And I mean, is it racist? Is it offensive? Is it borderline hate crime level comedy? Yes it is. But I do think that all great comedies walk that fine line and push the limit of what's offensive. It's not great, but it's entertaining as fuck. Definitely a better option than social media brain rot. Back in the day though, there wasn't any brain rot. Back in the day, you wanted to binge a series, then you had to go down to the video store, hire multiple DVDs or videotapes to get all the seasons of a show, and then you really had to binge it, because if you didn't return it the next day, you'd have to pay even more money. And now they lose their fucking minds when the Wi-Fi is slow for 2 minutes. Enough with series, let's have a longer attention span and switch to movies. Let's start with GOAT movies, and this week we're checking out modern rom-coms. So from 2010 and onwards, and if you think that it narrowed down, you're wrong. Because a lot of options. But we gotta go with That Awkward Moment. This movie's got the modern quick comedy and has the unique relatability and somewhat toxic emotional turmoil. And honestly, it's just real. Idealistic as fuck, but real. This is a 8 out of 10 from The Island. Thunderbolts landed in cinemas worldwide this past weekend, and it over-delivered. I know it's still early, so we don't want to give any spoilers away, but I will say this. Florence is the focus, and the dynamic showed in this movie, plus that second post-credit scene. Let's fucking go. W movie. Now, last week we called it that Thunderbolts would be the movie of the month, and right now we can definitely say it will be, but we still need to wait for Hurry Up Tomorrow and Lilo and Stitch later in the month. But do I think that the Blue Alien is beating out Florence and the Benchwarmer Avengers for movie of the month? No, I don't. It's Florence, for fuck's sake. We watched it in that weird ass shit Midsummer, but still watched it because it's Florence. If you remember, we said that there were 2 movies that we really didn't need this month, and we're going to explain why for one of them. This week, we're going to explain why we don't need Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And the why? Tom Cruise. That's it. That's the reason. It's time to look at DSPs and studios. Let's get DSPs out of the way. And the DSP we watched the most this week was Amazon Prime. TBH, it was just binging number one Happy Family USA, and was really a busy week too. So by default, Amazon Prime is the most watched DSP of the week on the island. But that shit's not gonna last, just like you on the first night back with your ex. Now that that's out of the way, let's focus on studios. Marvel and DC continue their battle. It hasn't been competitive in almost 20 years. And this week we're looking at the pros and cons of each, starting with DC Studios. Pros, they made the show Smallville, I guess. which is a classic. I mean, somebody save me. GOAT theme song, TBH. And cons, this was 20 years ago. Marvel's turn. Cons, well, it's just so difficult keeping up with all the projects releasing, succeeding, being scheduled. And the pros, I mean, it's Marvel. We know who the GOAT studio is, but which is Disney's best era? Every week we'll rate a different era of Disney, and this week's Disney era is the 90s animation, also known as the Disney Renaissance. From 1989 to 1999, from the island, we're giving this era of Disney a 8 out of 10. And I mean, the movies could have been animated stick drawings and it would still get at least a 6 based off these soundtracks alone. But an 8 is a solid score. The time has come to go back for some entertaining history. Starting off with another petty boy in history to put your boyfriend's red flags to shame. This week's petty boy in history is the Roman Emperor Elagabalus, who divorced his wife almost immediately after the wedding because, well, she had a birthmark he didn't like. Talk about peak pettiness. Let's look at this week's historical movie and figure out what's wrong with it. This week's historical movie is last week's GOAT movie of the week, Gladiator. And in the film, the father of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, the famous Roman emperor, is the ruler of Rome, and at the start of the movie is killed by his son Commodus. But in actual fact, the philosopher just died of old age. Shit happens. But I guess the son killing the father made for better drama. In the early 1800s, Greece was under Ottoman rule, and the Greeks wanted their freedom back and attacked the Turks. During the battle, the Turkish army were running out of ammunition and started breaking down the columns of the surrounding buildings to use the lead within as bullets. And despite wanting to win back their independence, the Greeks couldn't stand the sight of their precious columns being torn down. So they sent bullets to the enemies to use with instructions that read, "Take the bullets, but leave the columns." Damn. They must have really loved those marble columns. But these columns have stood the test of time, and Greek history is remembered through the iconic architectural design. Still though, sending your ops bullets to shoot you with? That's crazy confidence. Or stupidity. Now, this piece of history wouldn't make a good series or movie. Well, as a period series, I think it's too short unless a limited series, so we're giving it a 5 out of 10. It's a bit mid, I'm afraid. But as a movie, The Island is giving it a 7 out of 10. This could be a really good piece, and it would be refreshing to have a relatively unknown piece of history represented on the big screen. That's a wrap for this week's entertainment and history drop, and you can like and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, drop a comment. And from GOAT Island, this is the Big Ka Huzzi. We'll check you again.